Look at that. Got the plane off the ground here with producer Dex at a bachelor party this weekend. Reusse Unchained. Pat,
Didn't he
the
get
Twins.
enough bachelor parties when he had his own bachelor parties? Didn't
I
he
feel
get
like
enough of
Dex has
those?
been to about 14 bachelor parties since we've been working with him.
Hard on the liver, man. Hard on the liver, those bachelor parties. So,
Yep. Yep.
yes.
So he's trying to mix in a bottle of water for every 2 drinks. We'll see how long
Okay.
that
Well,
lasts.
yeah, that's a good idea, I guess. So, yeah, we were we watched the Twins last night. I think most of us did anyway. Buxton hits 2 home runs, and I hate to be repetitive, but how is this possible that he's doing this when 2 years ago they told us we couldn't let him play in the field because he was incapable? I don't get it. And it sounds like the surgery was removing a flap of skin. Who were the
Yeah.
doctors that had him before this guy? That's what I want to know. It's unbelievable how good he's playing.
This is the
He's
best season of his career.
Yes, it is because he still strikes out 25-30% of the time, but he's making more contact than ever. What's his average? 280, hitting
280.
280, 280, and home runs are coming. Stealing bases, he's gonna have an all-time high for stolen bases before the year's over. It's it's phenomenal. If Do you think that the league is, they'd have to look, but he's the comeback player of the year. I got news for them because he never, if he makes it to the finish line, if he makes it to the finish line this year. Because last year he was playing okay, and then he missed 2 months. How many
Yeah.
weeks did he miss at
A
the end
couple
of the
stints,
season?
right? At the end
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
the
but
season, he was hurt.
at the end he missed the
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
I just watch it and say, what? Where'd this come from? I can't believe it.
This does make you think about, though, what we suspected and is now being confirmed. How sad it is that it took this long for him to stay on the field because he is such a special, unique talent.
Yeah, and even like 17 when he was like the platinum glove winner and all that stuff and an all-star, he never hit as good as he's hitting now. This is the best he's ever hit, does it? Don't you think his plate coverage is better than it's been, Phil? I think it is.
I do too. I think earlier in the season, he was I feel like he was striking out even more early in the season, but
Yeah.
he's been drawing a ton of walks now too.
Yes.
He's already matched last year's walk total. I mean, Pat, he coming into the season, he had only walked 193 times in a decade. And
Wow.
over 10% of his career walks have come this season so far
Wow.
in half a
That
season.
that's unbelievable. Yeah, I guess you don't realize how seldom he did walk because with him, a walk is a weapon.
Big
It's
time.
if he draws more walks. Plus, if he's not chasing as many pitches, then they're gonna have to throw him more strikes, and that's the way all that
You know,
works. So,
his power really started to click. Well, everyone's did during the 2019 season,
yes,
and he's carried over that power for this is now the 7th year where he's been hitting for actual power. And the sad part is, if you take his average numbers over 7 years and extrapolate to a per 162 game average, which he
yes,
never comes close to playing that many games, but he's literally a 40 home run, 95 RBI guy over the
yeah.
course of with elite speed and fielding and everything.
Did you
So,
ever the enormous distance of his home runs this year is blowing my
oh,
mind out. I mean, he's hitting it up in places that I never. Once in a while he'd run into one. You'd say he hit that a long way, but you know, just about every time they say that was 418 or something like that.
yeah.
It's
What's
incredible.
funny is sometimes you equate home run hitting strength to like big muscles and but it's like in golf. Dustin Johnson, because he's lanky and wiry, he's going to have more whip and hit the ball
Yes,
further than, and Byron is just he's so whippy and lanky and yeah, he gets that bat out in front. It's fun to watch.
it's
It's fun to watch, but it's also depressing to think about what could have
yes,
been the
yeah.
last eight
I
or
mean,
nine
he's
years.
he's 31, right? 31. That's that's 5, 6, 7. I mean, that's That's Hall of Fame talent.
Oh yeah.
If he
It
stayed
is.
healthy, there's no doubt about it.
The
So,
incredible thing is the speed is still there too.
oh God,
At 31.
I just remember watching a game 3 weeks ago, and in the background, he's going from first to third, and they're kind of showing the play somewhere else, but in the background you see him going first to third, and it's like 5 strides. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've never seen a stride like that in baseball in full flight. That long of a stride. It's just incredible.
Yep. No, it's and he's going to make his second All-Star game probably
Yes.
2020. It's crazy. Hall of Fame talent, but because of the injuries and whatnot, only one All-Star game in 10 years up to this point. So,
And
yeah.
but the biggest surprise of this season was yesterday. Day game after night game. Rocco played him.
Yeah, look at
Rocco
that.
played him. Fantastic. That must have been desperate to end the 6 game losing streak to
Yeah,
actually
I'm sure
play
they
him on
were.
day game after night game. Yes.
Yeah. And look, he didn't as far as I know, he didn't fall apart. Everything's
No,
fine.
no, it's fantastic.
For
He
all the work
actually
they put in, when he's in his mid 20s and they're thinking, "Oh, we got to be thinking about the 10-year arc, so we need to," and that never worked, you know.
no, no.
And so it's funny, when you just take the restrictions off and let a ball player play a ball. And
And that's your theory with him is if he's healthy today, I'm playing him
Yep.
because you never know what's around the corner, and because he's still, I the number of injuries from him actually hitting the wall and getting knocked out of playing time have been minimal. But he's still going to hit a wall every once in a while, and he's still going to be bruised up, and he's still going to get hit here and there. So when you can play him, play him.
How
Anyway,
about too that ballpark, man? Great American ballpark. Did you guys see the Jeffers home run?
yeah.
yes,
That was the ball. The ball jumps from that place.
yes, and the fences aren't that far out.
Oh,
I think when the Reds were good, and they hit more home runs than anybody. There's that's pretty much the bandbox until Yankee Stadium came along in this
yeah.
current condition. That was pretty much the number one bandbox in baseball, that place. And
The house that Adam Dunn built. Yes.
yes, yes, right. And the funny thing is, Adam Dunn didn't need close walls because if he hit the ball, he hit it 440. But generally, he didn't hit it. So, and you can strike out in any ballpark. The short fences don't help you striking out, which it did. What
Yeah.
was Adams' highest total? He went over 200 several times, didn't he?
Oh, for
He had
strikeouts?
to. He
He
had
had,
to.
I'll say, one of the weirdest statistical anomalies in baseball history. He hit exactly 40 home runs in, I think it was 4 straight seasons. Yeah, from 2005, 6, 7, and 8, he finished with exactly 40 home runs in each of those years. Yeah, it's funny. He only had 1 year of 200
Oh,
strikeouts, and it
really?
came with the White Sox in 2012.
Hmm.
But he did lead the league in strikeouts 4 different times in his career.
I was looking at some attendances today, and I think because we're in trouble here, and we got the Whiteys in division and not drawing anybody, and the Miami having 10,000 last night, they're drawing a lot of places. A lot of places are packing them in right now. So baseball's okay in maybe 16 out of the 30 markets. I don't know,
yeah.
but it's probably more than ever whether you're winning or not. But the Braves, ever since they escaped the inner city, have been packing them in, and they're even though they're the disappointment of the year.
Yeah,
I heard a big they it's amazing how these shows though can have debates. I saw a big debate on should the Braves trade Chris Sale. You know, yes. Well, you're creating that out of whole cloth. There's no rumors that the Braves are going to give up.
Hold on a second. It's called reckless speculation.
Yes, yes, I know. Yeah,
I
but
sort of like that talker. Let's go.
you guys
What do you
at
guys think?
least label it. These guys act like it's a serious conversation.
Hey, the Braves have climbed their way back into third
Yes,
place in the NL East. You know,
they're
they're
good. They got a hell of a team, and
They've had a weird year.
they got Chris Sale is like he can walk into the Hall of Fame right now, but
Yeah.
he's pitching great. Why the hell would they trade him? They're drawing 3 million people,
yeah
and
they are they're drawing 37,000 fans per game in
yes,
Atlanta right
yes.
now. It's
It,
crazy.
it's a city,
Location,
right, Pat?
location.
Like they built like a
The build,
Braves,
yeah,
like it's the
I haven't
ballpark,
been down there, but they did.
all
Yes,
that stuff around it.
I can guarantee you that they don't have a classic soul food restaurant 2 blocks away like the old place did, which was a fantastic place to eat, by the way, that soul food joint. But
Mm.
out there, if they have a soul food joint, it's a mock soul food joint. So
Speaking of that, that's why Atlanta, for the third time, guys, is back trying to get a hockey team because they're going to put it out by the Braves
yes,
ballpark.
yes, and they might make it this time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's and if you what's it going to cost you now though? 2 billion to
Oh
get an
God,
NFL and NHL expansion team? How about the
yeah.
how about our Glenn? Glenn Taylor's got to be feeling a little sad about getting 1.5 billion for the Wolves, right?
How about that?
Lakers are getting 10, and the bus is keeping 20%.
Yeah. Yeah, Pat.
That guy,
So
how much
the Wolves
money?
are valued at 3 billion right now.
Yeah. How much money is that Walter guy got, for God's
Yeah,
sakes?
a lot.
He's
Well, yeah,
he's he owns the Dodgers. He's gonna own the Lakers, and he financed this pro hockey league of which we're the dynasty. So
And he
yeah.
also owns some type of like racing team as well,
and
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 Chelsea.
Chelsea, which is he's got he's got our friend Dana Wessel is a big fan, right? Isn't Wessel a Chelsea guy?
he
Are
is a
there
Chelsea
are
fan. Yeah,
there any of those soccer teams that are good that aren't owned by an American?
An American or a fellow from Saudi Arabia.
That's
They
true.
got a few
Yeah,
of those too. Yes, so
that's true.
they got the Brits are willing to sell them to anybody. So
yeah.
talk about talk about the stupidest league in sports, though. It's that league, right? They got the they got the same 5 teams they're spending like, this is like they got 5 Dodgers and then they got 15 Twins in the league. As far as spending money, it's
It is crazy. Yeah, and there's
yeah.
no playoffs. The season
No,
just
no
they got their little
playoffs.
they got
It's just
these like champions leagues, and they got the
yes.
the other cup or whatever.
How did you like the fact that these phony morons, to get more international play, they now have the Club World Cup
Yeah,
instead of the Country World Cup? Now they got clubs representing. We already have the Champions League over there that's for the club teams. They got too much
It's all a
international
ruse.
play.
what is
Put
that though? Like, so
I
it's
don't
because
know.
I see it's on Turner. It's like on TNT, the Club World Cup, which I had never heard of until they started
No, I
advertising
think
it.
they just started it this year, but
Okay.
they're just a phony deal. So anyway,
Yeah.
uh,
Hey,
so yeah,
we get a
game.
game 7, Pat. We get a game 7 this weekend. All you haters, you didn't want that small market NBA finals, and now look at us.
I'll tell you what, they got some warriors on that Indianapolis team. Obi Toppin, I'd take him in a heartbeat. He
Pascal
is a
Siakam. Oh,
monster. Siakam is the hardest player ever. McConnell is the hardest player ever. They play their asses off. How did Tibbs let Obi Toppin get away? That just exactly every team in the league needs that guy. He plays 26 minutes and he's going to knock you on your ass, and then he's going to come down and shoot a three. The
yeah.
guy's
What's
fantastic.
funny is like it all because he's not been a great shooter in his career, but I feel like Obi Toppin's run started when he
When
was
he
running with the backups at Target Center. I
and
think it was at Target Center.
made like he beat him himself with like
Yeah, he
six
had like
threes,
seven
right?
threes. Yeah, and it
He kept,
sparked him.
yes, he's playing great, but that team is. I had a feeling all day they were going to win, but I never thought they were going to blow their doors off. But yeah, it's when do we play? Like next Sunday now, or Monday,
It's
or
Sunday
Tuesday?
night, 7 o'clock.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's good. We only have to wait 3 days then. That's good.
Also Rick Carlisle, if the Pacers pull this off, I think Rick Carlisle will have then overseen maybe the two biggest finals upsets of my lifetime, because his other title was the 2011 Mavericks, who beat that LeBron James, Dwayne
Yes.
Wade, Chris
Yes.
Bosh Heat team
Yeah, that's right.
off schedule. So I mean,
And maybe
man, he's a great coach.
the other one you might throw in there's Toronto, but
But the
you know,
KD Achilles tear is kind of what
yeah,
opened the
that's
gate
right.
for that to happen.
Yeah, and Kawhi actually agreeing to play for that
Yeah,
final
yeah.
too.
No
And
load management in the NBA
no,
finals.
no. Well, he came off the ultimate load management to get to Toronto. He didn't play at all
Yeah.
with Dallas the year before.
Would you do a load management game for Halliburton's calf on Sunday, Pat? Just make sure he's good for the long haul.
You know what? They don't need him, but I would play him. But I don't think he's close to their most important player. But he's had moments, obviously, and they like to give him the pub because everybody knows who he is, and he's a hot button character. But he's not like the franchise with that team. I don't think he's not like SGA.
I mean, he's not quite the same scorer as SGA, but he's such a brilliant passer and playmaker.
Good last night, yeah.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass, but
Pain in the ass.
yeah,
It's funny,
but
like Indiana's had these the two players in their history that have the weirdest shooting motions. Reggie Miller with that kind of
yes,
cross. They both have that weird cross face, kind of crooked shooting motion.
they put this up last night, and I forgot about it. I forgot that they were like the dynasty of the ABA back in
Yep.
the early '70s.
Yeah.
We only lasted 2 years with two different teams in the ABA. So, and then it started falling apart. But they won what, 4 titles in a row, something like that.
I think
3 or
they won
4
three titles in a row
Was
in the
it-
early 70s with Slick as their coach.
Doesn't? Yeah.
Slick Leonard.
Yes,
Slick Leonard.
Bob Leonard. Hey, doesn't Carlisle seem an unlikely guy to be able to relate and get that kind of effort out of the modern basketball player? Doesn't he? He must have something going for him.
Yeah, I mean he's been a connector more than you would think
Yes.
based on his outward personality. So
Yeah, he just looks like some old grumpy white guy, but they play their ass off for him, man.
it was
It's
very
unbelievable.
controversial when he went from Detroit, because Detroit and Indiana in the early 2000s were a bitter rival, the fight and everything.
Uh-huh.
And I remember it being very controversial when he went. He was in Detroit for like 2 or 3 years. Didn't he? He was there before Larry Brown, I think. Then Larry Brown came in. They won the championship. But he went to Indiana in like 2003 the first time before he then left a few years later, went to Dallas. He's had quite the career, quite the roundabout.
Bird hired him, right? I think
Yeah.
the first time around with Pacers,
Yeah.
Bird brought him in.
So I had breakfast with Niko today, and Niko, was the student manager for 4 years with Clem. So we had some good Clem stories being
Oh, my
told
gosh.
back and forth. And
Does he have the
he-
power now to get Clem a little
he's-
closer to
he-
the
he-
Gophers athletic?
He would like to bring him back, but he's close with Clem. He said he called there a few days ago and talked to Yvette, and they lost their son Brent, so it's kind of a sad situation down there. But he loves Clem, and I love Clem, so we had a good time telling.
How's Clem
telling-
doing?
I think he's not good mobility, although he told me that when he called Yvette the other day, Clem was out in the field getting hay with his guys. So he's still at least supervising the farming out there on the tractor. So
Yeah. I
So,
feel like Niko had to kind of start from scratch there, as a lot of coaches do. If he's brought in some players working that
he
transfer
feels,
portal.
he's got 3 or 4 that are going to play a few minutes, and then he's got 3 or 4 that he told me that other Colorado State guy he wanted, the guard who was honorable mention point guard in the Mountain West. Thought he was going to get him, and then North Carolina gave him $2.2 million
That's,
Wow.
to
But
go to North Carolina.
But how are you going to hang on to players? That's my question. How are you going
Yes.
if a guy has a great year, okay, and now North Carolina and whatever Duke,
Yes.
how do you hang on to players?
You don't let anybody play more than 24 minutes. You don't let them pad their statistics. I don't know what you do. I have no idea. But they did. He wouldn't tell me exactly. Somebody else told me that they had 6 million to spend this year, so he wouldn't tell me. But that's yeah. I think Ben had what 1.4 or something like that last year, and gave most of it to Darson Garcia.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. But the difference here is this guy's 51, and he's been a head coach for what since almost 20 years almost. And Ben was what 40 and 39 and never been a head coach. So and Ben he's getting some support from the front office here, which Ben really never got. So
He
we'll
needs a
see.
GM, Pat. Tell him. You got to go get a
Yes.
GM. Everyone's got a GM now.
But I think basketball is a lot like hockey because everybody knows everybody. And big friend of big friend of Brian Dutcher from playing against him in the Mountain West League. They all know each other. It's incredible. 350 colleges and they all know each other.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
crazy.
amazing.
Yep. All right, Pat. Well, stay cool, stay hydrated, jump in the pool a couple times this weekend, and
I
we'll recap Game 7 with you on Monday.
I had my morning wake up already in there, and then I went to have breakfast, and now I might have another one. So all right,
Wow, what
Look
a
at you.
day! All
all
right,
right, all right,
Reusse Unchained. Pat, we'll see
all right,
you next week.
all right.